Okay, so this is a check-in on our deployment recognition event. It is February the 16th, 2018, and this is Catherine Calloway. We've got on the telephone Evelyn, Jennifer, Paula, Linda, and then Lori, David, and Rich are on Skype. Are there any other folks who are in attendance I haven't captured? Okay. Well, so you guys have been working under some sort of loose guidance and direction, trying to get these scheduled. I'd asked the executive directors to take the lead with the DPMs as their deputies and get some of these scheduled. We've got some great information that Jennifer Capps has gotten from Bill Fole that I might put her on the spot and ask her to sort of summarize. And then we can just get also a summary of all the events and how the planning is going, and see what holes still need filling in. Are there any other things that we want to accomplish on the call today? Alrighty. Well, I do want to start by saying thanks, y'all, for working so diligently on this, again, with some less than complete sort of expectations and understandings. I am hoping to task our volunteer recognition and appreciation lead in disaster, Victoria Cooper, with getting some of these on the books on a regular basis, maybe at the end of July after flood season, maybe in November after hurricane season, and start working on that. Honest to goodness, what does it look like when you put it in a box, when we've got recognition in a box, so we can just unpackage it every time that's upcoming, and we know whose responsibility lies where and where the resources are that we can pull from. So this has been an interesting learning experience trying to put this together with the hopes that it'll go much more smoothly next time. So up on the screen I've got the list of recognition events, and it looks like, oh, they're not quite by date. So, so Lori, do you or one of your team want to present what you already know, and we can get some details filled in about those?
We put this list together, everybody, to give out to our members of our volunteer steering committee in hopes that they would come and be part of this and support these events. So what we tried to do was just fill in where we had the facts and where things had been fleshed out. And forgive us if we don't have the most latest update. This is just what we had as of Tuesday, I think it was, that we put this together. So, Catherine, it may be appropriate if we just kind of went from chapter to chapter and filled in as we knew it. As they're able to share it.
Okay, great.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah. So you've got Western Kentucky up here, in the number 1 and 2 slot, one in Paducah on March 12th, and one in Owensboro on March 22nd. Can we get a summary of what those are going to look like?
Evelyn or Linda, do you want to jump in on that, or Ari? I'm not sure who's on.
Yeah. Linda or Evelyn, what's going to be going on at these Paducah and Owensboro events in March?
Hey, this is Evelyn. Linda and I have not really flushed out everything that's going on. We've not been in the same space. But we've got a location set for the Owensboro one at Western Kentucky University at Owensboro. We'll use that facility. And then I'm still waiting on confirmation from a couple of locations for the Paducah area group. But as far as the event itself, unless Linda's done something different, we've not been able to flush all of that out yet.
Okay, and I do think, Linda, I feel like you and I had talked about it a little bit. You do have, is that right, already a mental health person attached? No, your mental health person is out of town right now, but you are planning on getting her as soon as she is off her cruise. Is that what I remember?
Yeah.
Okay.
Marcy should be back this weekend, and I will touch base with her first thing next week to see if she's able to attend both events. I don't think Owensboro will be an issue, maybe Paducah, but she could ride down with me, so I'm hoping to be able to get her to both meetings.
Linda, did Marcy respond? Did she deploy?
No, she's on a cruise for 2 weeks.
No. Did she deploy to Texas?
Oh, yes, she did. Her and Marcia both did.
Okay. Thank you.
And Bill Fole has put together some handout materials also, so we'll want Marcy to connect with him to get sort of some ideas of the best way to go about meeting the needs emotionally and mentally there at your events.
Okay, I'll have her touch base with him.
Okay, great. All right, is there anything in particular that you need more or additional support to do this?
I don't believe so. I think it'll just be maybe Evelyn and I can get together next week and kind of pan out thoughts of how we want this to go. I'm not sure if David or Lori, either one, are going to be able to attend. We haven't really talked with them about it much outside of our conference calls that we've had. I know that David's going to be putting together the certificates, and they're going to be providing the gifts, and then Evelyn and I will work on the mills.
The certificates are all printed for Western Kentucky.
You just need to get them in your hands. And Catherine, is it okay if I jump in and mention the gift?
Please, yeah.
Because I'm not sure we've shared this out. The gift will be a ceramic coffee mug with a lid. So we'll be getting those out based on the listing and how many you need, etc. We ordered a few extra, but not many extra. So hopefully we've got a comprehensive list.
Yeah.
Do I need cheers or any jeers on that? Does that sound appealing or does that sound horrible?
We need a few oohs and ahs.
So a ceramic coffee mug, travel mug.
Yeah, it's a travel mug. And I want to say it's ceramic. I think it is.
All right, we got.
Like it. You're my best friend.
All right, we got one yay.
Any jeers?
That's good, Lori.
Yeah.
All right, good. Thank you, Evelyn.
All right, we got some happy about that. Yes, so the list was comprehensive as of, I think, pretty much everybody who was on Marshall County. Of course, now it does not include Benton, or not Benton. Where are we now? Harlan. Wherever the heck we are now. Harlan. So maybe we can catch them in July. Okay, so moving down the list that, well, anything else from Western Kentucky's event? Anything you've learned from planning this that would help the rest of us plan?
I don't think so at this time, because there's not been a whole lot of planning done in regards to it, other than just trying to find the locations that we want to hold this.
Okay.
And I've got to get David a list of the volunteers and separate the two for the two events. So Evelyn and I will get together next week, hopefully, and be able to pan out some more thoughts on it and do some more planning.
All right. Okay, the next down on the list, on volunteer services list, is Jeffersontown, which is territories 3 and 4, Louisville area chapter, with Vicki planning that with David. And Vicki's not on the call. David, do you have any report out from Louisville area chapter?
I know it's going to, of course, um,
Be on the floor.
be on the 4th.
Is that right?
No, it's the 8th.
Yeah, it's the 8th.
Okay, I don't know why. That's what was throwing me off. I was like, it's not on the 4th.
David made a mistake on that one, you all. It was Lori. No, I'm kidding.
Wait a minute.
It was me. Sorry about that.
But that's a public library in Jeffersontown, and we were trying to kind of go in the middle of Territory 3 and 4, so everyone could be together rather than having two separate ones. And so Vicki picked that location. Sounds like it will be easy for both 3 and 4 to get to. You want to know more about the event, or?
Who's the mental health person?
I'm not sure who the mental health person is yet. She has someone picked out. And, you know, she had some other ideas besides the mental health person. She even went so far as thinking it would be a good idea, since there will be a lot of people attending, maybe they don't have babysitters for the night or whatever, and they've got a 9-year-old that may need to come with them. So she's thinking about putting together a pillowcase program so that the children will have something to keep them occupied. And she's got volunteers to help her with that. So I guess as time goes along, we'll see how many of the people, you know, reply that they're coming, and then find out if, you know, if they're bringing children or anything. So that's, I guess, to be determined as to whether that takes place or not.
Okay. So maybe a pillowcase. All right. So I had offered to help Vicki, since she does not have the same access to an executive director, and I failed miserably. So I'll give my report out for Louisville area chapter. I had asked Bev if there were a budget or a method for getting food donated, and if and how we can invite the Louisville area board of directors. And I've not been able to connect with her in person yet, but she had no idea what I was talking about with these events, so I failed miserably. I was going to ask Sherry if we have any more Myers cards for food at this event, and beg for help from anyone who does a better job than I did at getting the board involved and tracking down food.
Catherine, and you probably already know this, the Louisville board meets on Tuesday, this coming Tuesday.
Okay.
So it would be a good opportunity for, if Jim's going to report out on the Habitat Disaster Services, Jim Rogers, that maybe he could talk about the event, and if you all could give him a talk and encourage the board members to come and attend.
Great. Okay.
And so it's this coming Tuesday, so time is of the essence.
Uh-huh. All right. That's good. No, I don't know when the board meets, so that is good information. We will get some information to Jim. All right, anything else on Louisville area chapter?
Catherine, I don't know if it would be appropriate, but I know Tim State is going to report out on behalf of volunteer services. He could always report out on that if you would want him to, if that would simplify things.
Sure, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. I'm putting his talking points together. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Next, we've got Bluegrass. I don't think we have anyone on the phone or Skype from Bluegrass, but I did see some updates.
This is Wanda.
Oh, hi, Tawanda. Hey.
Hi, I'm in Harlan with Amanda.
Uh-huh.
So she's here with me.
Oh, great.
Is Steve on the line? Or no?
Well, you snuck on the
Catherine,
line.
Steve
But
on the line?
no, Steve had not been on the line, but you just snuck on the line yourself, so I don't think Steve's on, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So Steve and I and Rich talked about the event for Lexington. I'll start there first. And I think the plan is to piggyback onto a volunteer meeting possibly next month. And since we have Zach Goebel that's in our area that's a mental health professional, we're trying to coordinate with his schedule and possibly having an event as part of the volunteer meeting that takes place. Mm-hmm. And then we'll invite the board to join us. We've already done several recognition activities in Lexington, so it just felt a little redundant to actually make it
a recognition again, because we recognized our deployed volunteers in November in front of the board, and we gave them certificates then. So at this point, we will recognize them at the volunteer meeting, invite the board members to the volunteer meeting, and give them the new gifts that we're going to provide. So that's our plan for Lexington 10. And then I'm here with Amanda now, and of course she's extremely busy this week with all the efforts going on here in Harlan County and Bell and Perry. So her meeting for Lake Cumberland and Winston was scheduled for next Saturday, and we're going to have to postpone it and reschedule and regroup for Lake Cumberland and London area and Somerset. So the goal with that one is kind of similar, is to tie it to a volunteer meeting. We do have a hospital that has agreed to allow us to use their facility. So we're going to do it in one of the conference rooms or the dining room at the hospital. And then and the hospital also has agreed to, St. Joseph London Hospital has agreed to allow us to use their caterer as well. So that's the plan for Lake Cumberland, London area.
With a caterer, that's nice. That's helpful.
Well, it's hospital food, but that's not that fancy. The hospital caterer. I guess I made it fancy by saying caterer, but it's the hospital. But it's good hospital food, so that's kind of the direction that we're going in for this part of the state.
Okay, yeah, I appreciate you getting this done with Lexington, because I know you'd already had 2 events. So this sounds to me, in my opinion, like it meets the need. Sorry, my phone ringing. It meets the need of that we're wanting to get at least the mental health information out to our responders.
Yeah, and Catherine, if you could, I don't know if anybody on the disaster team's on the call, but I felt like Steve had a different thought, thinking that we needed to do a whole nother event again and do a whole nother recognition. And I think he was kind of misled in believing that. And what I shared was I don't see why we would spend resources or time devoting an entire, creating something. Why wouldn't we just, tag on to our volunteer meeting that's happening and provide the mental health assistance and give everyone an opportunity to bring their pictures and kind of share stories and use it in that way. So I just want to make sure that he's clear that it's okay to do it this way. I feel like he thought that he had to do something.
Yeah, that would be my misleading him. So I will fix that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Is
okay,
there?
Guys, I'm gonna hop off so I can provide support to the operations here.
All right. Thanks, Tawanda.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our list is Prestonsburg. I'm not sure anybody is on from Eastern Kentucky. Is anyone on from Eastern?
Rich is here and he's been here the whole time.
Hey, Rich. Yeah.
I know I'm easily forgotten, but that's okay.
Forgotten.
What I can report on Eastern Kentucky is Debbie is working with Jim Ousley, who is one of the board members in the Pikeville, the Big Sandy board. He is the manager of the Quality Inn in Prestonsburg, so that's where they're working on having the event. They're looking at either possibility of Friday of the 3rd. Well, the date's down somewhere. I can't find it. The 2nd, the 9th, or the 23rd of March. Of course, it's still up in the air. I believe they'll probably be working with Paul Helo for the disaster mental health volunteer to be involved with it. But that's about all I have at this point in time.
Okay. Is there anything else that any of the rest of us, myself, can do to help Eastern Kentucky prepare?
Not that I know of at this point.
Okay. All right. And then last on this list is the Bowling Green. So South Central. And Jennifer, if you wouldn't mind, could you also share the insight you got from Bill? I mean, it really sounded like you understood from him the importance of these events.
Yeah, I think, everybody's talked about recognition, but I really feel like Bill's intention for this is for it to be an opportunity to support mental health. We see that with all the school shootings. That's what everybody's talking about right now, and everybody's afraid, I think, to go there. So one thing that I would love to see is, and I don't know if maybe Lori Medley can help us get this, I would love to see Bill Fold come to an all-staff meeting and sort of present his little program that he's going to present at our event on March the 1st for the staff, just so that they can see the presence and the relevance of, you know, us taking care of ourselves, but also, you know, us taking care of the volunteers and making sure that they're supported. So I do hope that everybody read those notes from last Friday, because my head was spinning when he was in here, just kind of wrapping my head around everything mental health wise, because I know it's an issue, but I don't know that we always think about it and think about the importance. He talks about when people come home from an event, they have two support groups. So they have their family, their pets, their church group, you know, their girlfriends, the guys that they go out with, and then they also have the group that went on that deployment with him and saw the same sorts of things. When I talked to him about people sharing their stories, he did not like that at all, as far as people sharing in a public group. So if I had a bad experience in Texas and you went to California, I don't need to put my bad experience in your pocket as another bad experience. And that was his thinking of, he's going to come in and present this handout that I included, and he's going to break the groups up into, like, what they deployed to, and he's going to have 4 questions that he still hasn't gotten to me that they can kind of review. Like, you know, how did you feel when you came home? How are you doing now? Because he says, we come home a different way, but then we also, 6 months later, process that. I think including Benton in these initial things is great, but I think that you need to come back to that group by themselves in 4 to 6 months and actually help them process. And I'm getting a text from Evelyn, and I'm going to share this story to just kind of show you the importance. When I worked with disaster more in the past, I don't think Red Cross, and they may do better now, but at that point they did not do a good job of screening our volunteers for mental health issues when they were going out on deployments. And at one point we had a brand new volunteer that, you know, we sent them through that crash course training, and, you know, had them on an airplane to somewhere in a day or two. And I think, you know, that's kind of often what we're doing. Unfortunately, this gentleman was under the care of a physician, and they were in the process of changing medications, which can be very dangerous. He did come home from that deployment early, and in a few days actually took his life. So mental health is very critical, and I think, you know, being able to have those support groups. I mean, I don't know, like, my husband doesn't want to hear about all this necessarily at the end of the day. So making sure people know that they can go back to the people that have gone out on those deployments with them. And the new people that we deployed, you know, do they even know who those people are? So I think that these events are going to be critical, and, you know, they are recognition, but I think more than anything we need to make sure that we're supporting people. And he's also going to ask the question of, how can Red Cross better serve you? Because if they've gone out and they've had a bad experience, or they need to talk about things, I think that's very important. And he even mentioned that so many of the school-based resource workers that went to Benton during this last event, even though they were only there for 3, 4, 5 days, were really impacted by the continuous stories that they were hearing. And he said they stayed too long. So I think, you know, as we get into more of these situations where the stories are devastating and we're right there in the middle of it, this is just going to be a great thing moving forward. So I would like for him to come and share with the staff kind of his thoughts. I couldn't find a statistic that he shared, but he talked about Kentucky being one of the, either we're in the top in terms of school shootings, or we're in the top in terms of deaths related to school shootings in the country. And I couldn't find that exact statistic, but that's scary when you stop and think about it. So, you know, just the whole mental health side of this, that we have the opportunity to set the bar across the country, I think is going to be great. We are doing our event on March the 1st. We're having one event for the whole area. It's going to be about halfway up I-65 at a restaurant that's got a private room. We're going to provide dinner. And then he'll go through that presentation of those slides and then break people out into groups. And then just hopefully they'll see that support system that they have moving forward.
Great. Sounds like you have drunk now Bill's Kool-Aid. And I kind of...
Catherine, can I jump in?
Go ahead. Yeah.
I want to give kudos to Jennifer, too, that Jennifer has really immersed herself in a great event on March 1st and pulling in volunteer leadership. And I really want to score that. Somebody of expertise like this, help me pronounce his last name, Dr. Fole.
It's a little bit hard to hear you now, Lori. I think maybe we've got a connection issue, but yes. Go ahead.
Kudos to Jennifer
Yes.
and
Yeah.
her efforts in pulling in volunteer expertise, Dr. Fole, to help pull this together and really set the stage for the rest of the region to follow suit. And giving that level of care and support to the volunteers, is obviously really critical. And I know, she said this, we've done some recognition already. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with recognizing again and again and again, but this is really a different mindset. It is about giving that support. So I just really applaud Jennifer and Dr. Fole in setting the stage for all of us. And I also want to, and I know we've kind of touched on this, but to think about just setting this as a standard.
Yeah.
And this happens X number of times a year for anybody that's deployed, that they are invited to these type of events and given the dates when they come back from their debriefing.
Yeah.
This is just something we do, not just if we have huge hurricane responses, but it's just a standard of course, like I said, to give that care and comfort to those who serve.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think it is wonderful having discovered. I was unaware that this is Bill's, this is where he comes from. This is what he does. This is what's his profession. So his training is in. So what a great resource to make certain that we are utilizing going forward. Absolutely.
And Jennifer, to your note about an all-staff meeting, let's bring it up on the management meeting on Monday. And your passion and your commitment to all of this speaks volumes. And I think coming from you says a huge amount if that's shared on Monday. So I would encourage that.
I'll do that.
And I've got another point to bring up that came from volunteer leadership from the Volunteer Steering Committee, and specifically Madeline Abramson. The whole committee is so in support of these events and the ways that we can offer this care and comfort to the volunteers that have deployed. But Madeline made a suggestion today about involving the media, not necessarily in the support part of the program, but in the recognition part of the program, or maybe sharing photographs of all the volunteers with their certificates with the local newspaper or things like that. So I just want to put a bug in your ear for each of the chapter execs to think about, is this a way to give some kudos to these volunteers through the media?
All right, so there's a bug in your ear. Okay.
So Catherine, can I ask the chapter execs what you think about that?
Yeah, sure. Any EDs?
Yeah, I think anytime
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Evelyn. I think anytime we have an opportunity to thank people publicly, that we should take the opportunity to media work. If we end up doing something specific specifically like Jennifer's talking about, where it's simply a support thing, maybe we hold it till the next time. Do our internal work first, and then share.
I agree with that.
All right.
I guess before you separate it too much, maybe think about this would be an opportunity to have a photograph made with these folks that you may not see them together again at another time, even if that could be submitted to the local media with their certificates in hand. I would just encourage us not to dismiss that without thinking about it's hard to pull these folks together. And unless we've got another opportunity in mind to do that, then we're kind of missing the boat.
Well, I don't disagree with sharing that information, but as far as putting a press release and saying, hey, we're going to, if it's for support, if we're going to be doing this event, if we do it on the backside, like you're talking about, that's different. We can say, hey, all these people deployed, isn't it great, that sort of thing. But to do the support, it just seems kind of personal.
I agree.
I think it sounds like everybody's doing something different, but I know Jennifer well enough. If she gets everybody together, it doesn't matter what kind of meeting, she's going to post a thank you, in a photo. So I think there are opportunities, but as far as an advanced press release, if it's just for support, then I don't know that I would do one.
I'm with you on that. I'm sorry, I misunderstood that, Evelyn. So I'm with you that it would be on the back end of it. I gotcha.
Okay, great. That sounds good. So maybe getting a photo to the media afterwards, or a public thank you in the newspaper afterwards, so that we don't invite folks into what could be an intense therapy session. So I had scheduled this for half an hour, and I've got to get to another meeting. Are there any other items that we want to make sure? Are there any pieces that you need help on, questions answered, things provided that you're still got questions about? Anything else that that anybody on the call can help make sure that these go off without a hitch? Well, that is so good to hear. I will send out the recording of this for those who missed it, and some notes from our call, hopefully by the end of today. If not, Monday probably actually is more likely with my schedule the rest of the day. But I thank you. I'm going to apologize again that it's been a little bit of a crazy ride, but we're pulling it together. And after this, after we manage this time, then we can do a little after action and hopefully get it on the books on a regular basis with some structure around it that we can plan around. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a lovely rest of your Friday. Bye-bye.